This is Sunday, second day of Matt and Dave's Florida fishing vacation. We had made the decision Saturday night late that this was going to be strictly an inshore day. The winds were expected to be the same, south-southeast at 10 to 20. From our experience the day before, we knew that we couldn't get offshore. So with the appropriate gear, we headed out to the flats. Before long, we realized that the trolling motor was not working and we had to do some emergency repairs out on the water. Once they were completed, we moved on over to an area where we were the day before. It's very skinny water, much different tide, and started scouting the flats. Matt sighted a small shark that was moving across the flat, and if you'll look right where this arrow is going to pop up, you will see the shark. Probably pick up his wake first. Matt made a few unsuccessful casts, and the shark moved on away to the right. This is sight casting. You see a fish off in a distance and you cast to it. I've mentioned before that if you're fishing in South Florida, especially skinny water, eventually you're going to catch a barracuda. Dave caught the first one of the day. Fun little fighters. I consider them catch and release. It is nice to have something tugging on the other end of your line. This is a little mangrove snapper that Dave caught, first one of the day. He was undersized, so he got to live for another day. Well, we caught another barracuda and had a hook up and a lost fish in that same area. We decided we'd do a little change up, do some drift fishing. So we moved over to a channel and using artificials started bouncing lures along the bottom, and it wasn't long before Dave had a really nice hookup. David caught himself a red grouper. First one I had seen of this species. Measured 18 inches long. Unfortunately, the minimum size is 20 inches. After a photo op, fish was released. While Dave took a little break after catching that red grouper, Matt decided that he wasn't going to let Dave have all the fun. So up there working the trolling motor and fishing the shoreline, he pulls in a grouper. Juvenile, undersize, released. Moved over to another area, and like I was saying, today was Dave's day. Another nice hookup. Well, let me tell you, this fish put on one heck of a fight. And we were all very impressed when we got it closer to the boat and could see what it was. This is a 22-inch mangrove snapper, gray snapper. Beautiful fish. Just goes to show you never know what you might pull out of a mangrove shoreline. While Dave was getting himself situated after catching that big snapper, Matt cast in pretty close to the same area, and he hooked up. A little smaller fish. This one was not keeper size, and we did have to release it. But this shoreline was being fairly productive for us. Matt was the next to have some action, playing around again with a barracuda he'd seen in the shallows there. Sight casting, got the strike, hook up. Just a little fun action to fill in the gaps. And then it was my turn. A new species for me, a little schoolmaster snapper. We continued to work our way around the shoreline. Wasn't long before Matt had another hookup. Watch out, Dave. Matt caught himself a little blue runner. That fish didn't know how lucky it was. We were not interested in live bait, and he was released. A little further around, I caught a mangrove snapper. If you can look behind the fish, there's a school of about 8 to 12 similar sized mangroves that just followed him right up to the boat. And when I lifted them out, they disappeared. It was starting to get late in the day. We had already decided we were not going to stay out till dusk like we had on Saturday. We were getting pretty tired. Matt hooked into a barracuda. Got a nice little fight right at the end of the day of fishing. Dave caught one right after this one was boated. It was another good day of fishing in South Florida with family and friends.